Imagine being immersed and sandwiched between two vastly different cultures. Imagine being immersed in two radically different lifestyles and having to transition between them on a day-to-day basis. Imagine living a double life, one at home and one away from home, at school. This is my story. My name is Aman Madan, and I live a double life. For 16 years, I have transitioned daily between a conservative Indian culture and a highly liberal American environment. For half the day, I speak English. I learn about math, science, history, and the world around me. For the latter half, I don't speak a word of English, I don't eat Western food, and my understanding of societal norms radically changes. But my story doesn't originate from the fact that I live two lives immersed in two entirely different cultures. No, my story, my struggle, and my unconventional perspective on life emerges from the fact that I transition between these two lifestyles on a day-to-day basis. Now, at my house, there's a culture of stalemate. My parents fight to preserve our traditional Indian roots, while my American education defends itself against century-old superstitions and traditions. So some days, I feel conflicted. Some days I think to myself that I should choose a specific lifestyle and live that life to the fullest. However, such an easy decision, such a naive decision, the decision to forget about one lifestyle entirely and blindly follow the other, seems somewhat of a utopian dream. Such an ideal decision can never work. Moreover, it would be the biggest mistake of my life. But on the days that I do feel conflicted, every day, what do I do about it? Well, every day, I attempt to create a balance between these two cultures, a buffer zone, if you will. But some days, this buffer zone, this imaginary buffer zone, doesn't materialize. So let me give you an example. Allow me to paint a picture for you. In a stringent Indian culture, one's success in the academic field corresponds to his stature in society. A student who takes part in extracurricular activities is not rewarded, but looked down upon. A student who takes part in FCA, Model UN, or even sports isn't looked up to in the community, but is looked down upon. In Indian culture, one's parents, your parents, determine your future. The decisions you're supposed to make, your parents will make for you. The college you'll go to, what job you'll take, is all determined by your parents. But let me take it back to let's take it back to a personal level. Some days, even after 16 years, I'll ask questions like, why do I have to study extra on the weekends when my friends are out having fun? And this isn't just a little bit extra, this is SAT, extra ACT work. I can't describe it because it's so different. But the answer I get has been uniform for the past 15 years. My mom, she puts on a stern look, and with a thick Indian accent, she says, Indians are a lot more academically focused and have high expectations of their kids. So essentially, I become the face of my family. My actions will determine the respect my family earns in society. Therefore, by that logic, I should work harder, I should work faster, and I should earn all A's. Earning a B simply isn't an option. It becomes imperative that I get accepted into the finest institutions and land a successful job. Otherwise, I essentially deface my family's name. But in Indian culture, it isn't my family's expectations of me that's guiding my success. It's society's expectations of me that's guiding my success. So this is what my parents believe, and every day I'm taught to believe the exact same thing. At school, however, I'm taught something more substantial, a little more radical. I'm taught to be a well-rounded student, one who actively engages in all aspects of school, be it FCA, be it Model UN, or mock trial. But there's something more significant, more substantial behind all this. I'm taught to never allow societal pressures to determine the man I will become. I'm taught to be an individual. So for a moment, put yourself in my shoes. Just for a moment, imagine living a life for 10 hours that stresses the importance of discovering who you are. For the other 10 hours, you live a life that tells you who you are. But I like calling on TED Talk. As I said earlier, living one lifestyle has been the biggest mistake of my life. Through my immersion in two cultures, I believe I've become a stronger person. In respect to my education, my parents' view on it has made me a lot more focused, traveling not as a tourist, but as a civilian, which has allowed me to understand different people's cultures and their lifestyles. This, according to me, is one of the most important aspects of having a multicultural lifestyle. My mind has adapted to understand how people live in different cultures. It becomes easier for me to understand them. It becomes easier for me to understand people who were always considered different because I myself have been different myself. Throughout my talk with all of you, I've tried to paint a picture, and hopefully it's worked. One of being conflicted, but one that carries a lot more weight, that's enhanced my life tremendously. I've told you how to live, I've told you how it feels to live and immersed in two cultures, one that stresses the importance of discovering who you are, and one that wants to tell you who you are. As I come to an end, hopefully you have a better understanding of how it feels to transition between two lives on a day-to-day basis. And as simple as it seems, for me it's like starting a completely different life every 12 hours.